Welcome everybody to another little episode of the Haunted Vermont podcast. My name is Paula Welden, and tonight we're going to talk about the 5th anniversary for Terror Trail. This was our second short horror film that was based on a Vermont legend, and this time we went to the creepy wood known as the Bennington Triangle. And Terror Trail is loosely based on the ideas of the real cases of Paula Welden and Paul Jepson. More on that in a little bit because we're going to talk to Tessa and I to discuss our thoughts on what Terror Trail did 5 years later and what we kind of looked at it and did for it and everything else. And especially since our little one was only a couple months old at that time. So it was definitely interesting to see how little our little one was and compared to how she is now. I can't wait till she gets a little bit older and watches that and then maybe be able to record her thoughts of what she thinks and everything else. So I can't wait for that opportunity. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. So here is the chat with Tessa and I. So Tessa, you were involved in Terror Trail in a couple ways. You kind of helped with not only acting in it with our little one at the time that was only like 2 months old, I think, by the time we shot that scene, and basically you helped with the fake blood, I'm assuming, for Charlie's scene when it came to the attacks and stuff like that. But yeah, so anyway, talk to us about your role in this.
I was meant to convey the mother. Amara was meant to convey Paul Jepson. The whole idea of it is Paul Jepson was 8 years old when he disappeared from his mother's truck back on October 12th, 1950. So
That's right.
Amara's role was to essentially portray Paul Jepson, but obviously she was a lot smaller then. She's definitely not an 8-year-old kid. She's a couple months old. We did this during COVID.
Yeah, when the whole world shut down and was kind of starting to come back to life.
So we were trying to keep our sanity. So we did Paul's film project for Terror Trail.
Yes, and if the audio becomes really distracting on Tessa's end, it's because the cat is literally trying to climb all over Tessa right now. So
yeah, cinder.
To touch on it, so Paul Jepson was 8 years old, like Tessa said, disappeared on October 12th, 1950. So here's a little summary of what happened with Paul on that fateful day, as nobody really knows Paul Jepson's story. He was last seen happily playing in a family pickup truck by his mother, who left to tend to pigs at the dump where she had her husband caretaker, and basically, was just attending. And then basically, as it progressed, he vanished without a trace. In addition to the hundreds assembled for a search party that following evening and stuff, New Hampshire sheriff brought in a bloodhound to sniff out the missing boy. The dog was able to pick up Paul Jepson's scent, but abruptly lost the trail at a nearby crossroads, suggesting a possible abduction by a murderer. As the case actually dragged on without resolution, some suggested that Jepson met an early demise at the hands of his parents and basically became food for the pig. And a not so great turnaround, which is what people think, but we don't really know for sure if that's really what happened. But also in keeping with the eerie feeling of what is known from local author Joseph Citro, as he nicknamed it, the Bennington Triangle, the boy's father told the Albany Times-Union that it was perhaps, and I quote, the lure of the mountain, unquote, that pulled his missing son, because his father was mentioning how Paul Jepson had, quote, talked of nothing else for days, unquote, prior to his disappearance. Which is interesting because we kind of had something similar few years prior, maybe like 43 or so, I can't exactly remember, but it was another guy that had mentioned something about hearing voices in the mountain that were basically kind of calling him to the mountain, which is interesting. Another thing I just want to point out is a lot of people think because of this whole wearing red in the woods to disappear, they think also Paul Jepson was wearing red. To actually confirm that is not true. However, in two different newspaper articles, it states that Paul was wearing nothing but blue overalls and he was not really dressed for wear for like cold nights in the woods. So what happened to him beyond that is who knows. There was some article too that described he had pretty long hair to maybe help shield his head from the cold, but I mean, still, if you're just wearing blue overalls, that's not enough at all for a little kid. So, I mean, I don't even know what to even add to that. So, why only just blue overalls? I don't know. But there you go. So, I guess I'll just shine in for a minute too. So, the other idea of this that we kind of see and Tessa can shine in too is like the whole red aspect. So, what was a fun idea for Jeremy and I, because obviously, like Tessa said, this is during the COVID crap and barely coming back into the quote norm. Jeremy and I wanted to try to figure out a cool way to like make a very short little, I guess, teaser or something to kind of like go along with the whole wearing red and to help obviously promote the short film. So what we did was we filmed a little segment called the Red Shirt Challenge, and obviously these videos were separate, but we basically made it so like Jeremy had the red shirt and he basically called me the annoying director and producer and he like went to toss the shirt, kind of like basically trying to signify like, oh, I'll accept this challenge, like this isn't like I ain't afraid of wearing red to basically everything else. So that's how we kind of tried to promote it with the whole wearing red. So in which case, when it came to wear the whole red in the short film, basically you got me and Jeremy wearing the red shirts at the end. You got
And then
Tessa with her.
I
Go ahead.
had such bright red hair. Everything that I was wearing was basically almost red. My sweater, my backpack, my hair, I'm literally like a walking warning sign in the woods, I swear.
Well, you would consider that to be like what, like a wine red?
Yeah, it's like a wine red.
Still red, but yeah.
Pretty red.
But yeah, so yeah, you did that. Charlie did his red backpack, even though he was wearing like a blue shirt. But I think that was really it. I think Amara was really the only one at that time that was not wearing red. So, but that
She didn't
kind of
have
worked
no
out.
red on at all.
Yeah, so it worked out in the end. But I mean, if I would have known sooner too, like maybe if I would have actually noticed that Paul Jepson had blue overalls, maybe we should have thrown in like a blue dress or something to kind of signify the blue that way. Maybe
Or
that's one thing that would have been cool to have changed if I knew that, if I could go back in time knowing what I know now with that, yes. But
yeah, because
I
she's
think
not
it's
so
still
widow anymore.
she is not widow anymore. No, she is not. I still have to say though, I as much as that scene was such a pain to shoot because obviously of not just Tamara being little, but I know you were having trouble on strapping her from her the chest strap thing.
The chest carrier thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
remembered like at that scene, I came up to you right at the perfect timing And I remember it all just like, oh man, I hope this would work out the way I want it now. And it actually does. The cut that I did where it goes from like you trying to get her ready from watching from like that one angle to then you over the shoulder bringing her up and putting her down. I think that's one of my favorite edits just because it worked out so good. So
It's like seamless.
well yeah, because I remembered it was like such a pain, so I was just like maybe I should just try approaching and try to get a shot that way to kind of show to signify why it's like doing that, and then maybe try to cut from there. But by the time I think I got to you, you kind of had it good, and then that's where you lifted Amara up to then get her ready to get put into the car seat. So it worked out in the end. That's one of the things I wouldn't have mind changing. It's like a blue outfit for that time frame and everything else. But uh, one of the things I do wish we could have gotten was with Charlie at the very beginning. Like I know we got the sign for Glastonbury for the hike. We got him going over the bridge and stuff. But then when we start seeing him from his point of view, because he's wearing like a body cam basically to show you him walking and his perspective. That was on the complete opposite side of the parking lot, and because of where the original parking lot is, there were so many people that day. Like it was crazy. Probably because everybody had cabin fever, so we all needed to be out in the goddamn woods. Is the way I
Yeah,
looked at it.
we all needed some nature therapy. We were going stir crazy in our apartments.
Yeah, and I think everybody too, because between the main parking lot and the parking space right across the street, it was just so packed. It was ridiculous. And what sucked is I would have loved to have had Charlie go up that trail because that trail itself, even though this is the newer trail versus the old trail, possibly where Paula Welden was originally last seen to go hiking anyway. So I don't think where this new area is where Paula Welden was actually vanished, I should say. But anyway, still though, but in this new area, it's so cool to witness as you're hiking up that area, like with the weird stone steps and rock boulder type thing that are split in half that you can kind of walk through and these weird trees and it's just everything like everything else. There's a video I did a long time ago called like checking out Glastonbury Mountain, and that's the kind of footage I kind of wish we had gotten with the weird steps in that weird tree and stuff. And that's an old video, so I mean at the time I was trying to have fun, so just pardon the weird sense of humor of that time. I'm trying to think here. What else? What else? Well, you technically had to talk with Charlie too, because for some reason it was like when Charlie was either trying to go up or something, it was like we were having
Yeah,
a weird connection.
we had to coordinate like when Charlie was going up and I was coming down that our paths would like cross.
Yeah. So in the footage, you kind of see him say like, "Hey," like acknowledging each other and stuff like that before shit hit the fan. So yeah, it was, that was like I don't remember 3 or 4 takes maybe. But what was hard about that too is once again all the people that were there. I don't even know how
Yeah.
many people came down who got there to start
There
growing
must have
up.
been like 5 or 6 people that were trying to come down every time we were trying to take the shot.
Yeah, and it was just such a pain in the ass. But I mean, at the end, it would work because we finally had a break, and if it wasn't one thing, it was another. So it was like the traffic or something. So it was just like, oh my god. So, but it worked out in the end, I think.
I'm still a scream queen.
Yes, you are. So if anybody doesn't know, this was Tessa's second time screaming in a short film that she did for us. The first one was The Passenger. But if you haven't checked that out, go for it. And then Yeah.
I remember Jeremy's reaction the first time I screamed, like in the car with him. He's like, "Oh wow!" I think I can still hear.
Yeah, it was like, oh God, poor Jeremy. And
Close
then when we had to
proximity.
re-record that scream, and it was just you and I, and it was like getting dark and stuff, and I think there was somebody at the West Rutland Marsh, and you screamed, and then we kind of bolted. It was just like, oh God, now we think something. Now they're gonna think like somebody just got murdered and drove away.
Just like when we like shot the passenger, like I can only like when we did my
That's what I'm
death
talking about.
scene. Yeah, my death scene, and then we came back like after we had like wrapped the film and everything to visit West Rutland Marsh, and it was like gated off and stuff.
Yeah, it's now gated off, and apparently there's video surveillance. So I don't know if we caused that or if it was just because of all the people that try to camp out there or something.
If we did cause that, whoops.
Yeah, double whoops because of whoops. That was also around the same area where we kind of threw the fake body parts into the swamp area, which I did retrieve them, so there's no body parts in there, fake ones. But still, it was just like, oh God. And then like the part that Tessa talking about that was gated off, yeah, we went there for the death scene, and what we did was we used fake blood to splatter on these pieces of wood, and oh man, yeah. So if somebody did not think that was fake blood,
Yeah.
again, whoops.
Yeah, we made the fake blood look a little too real.
Yeah, especially with the way editing became because of the whole flashback thing. It definitely made it look more liquidy, I guess. But it felt like it was more runny too at the same time, which I don't know if that's what we were looking for, but that's just how it happened.
Yeah, we have a little too much fun when we shoot short horror movies. Yeah. Just a little too much fun.
Yes. Now there is a couple of things that I kind of wish now, going back to this, that I did differently. I kind of wish at one point I did kind of keep the over the shoulder thing with the note, but I also feel like with Charlie's scene, I feel like we probably should have had him react to the note in a way of like maybe frustration or some sort of emotional something where he, like, I don't know, threw it or just got upset or something, just to kind of show more of emotion there versus just him kind of reading it to himself and just sighing, and then he kind of walks off with the note. But basically, I don't even remember what that note said anymore, but I know Jeremy wrote it. Basically, like, I'm dumping you, dumb, you dummy, or something. I think that's why we didn't write it. I think that's why we didn't use it, because of the whatever was written on the note. So, yeah, it was just like, maybe next time we'll make it more realistic. But like Tessa just said, we try to have fun, and that's the point of it. If we're not having fun, then what's the point of making it? Basically, I'm trying to think what else here. There are some shots in the bloopers that you can watch where like Charlie was such a sport when getting hit with this rock that Katie made, and Jeremy just kept like smacking Charlie with it so we could like make it look like he getting attacked by this boulder rock thing or this rock monster creature. And oh man, at one point we hit Charlie too so bad that it looked like he was starting to like break out, or like the jabs from the rock were starting to cut his skin or something, because he started to become so red on part of his face. I don't know if there was even some sort of like reaction or something of the material, but still, either way, I think Germany was having way too much fun when it came to throwing the rock at poor Charlie's face.
Poor Charlie took it like a champ.
I know a few people kind of complained a little bit about the monster vision, kind of. Well, it's like, well, we tried a different way, but unfortunately, that way was just so weird. So we tried to make it more like easier. That's why, hence the red vision of low to the ground, because we were trying to make it look like the Rock was seeing Charlie. And as I went to rewatch this too, there was a part where you see like the Rock was near Charlie, and then it cuts to another view where like that's when the attack is happening, and so I kind of feel like that was a weird cut, but then at the same time, which most people probably didn't think of it that way, but maybe there was more than one type of rock boulder going around. So maybe it wasn't just the one, because it's kind of like with Bigfoot, once you see one, there may be others, kind of thing. Um, so I guess we could always just chuckle that maybe there was just another rock monster just working about. Other than that, I kind of wish we had better sound effects at that time, but at the same time, it was like, what do you even make a rock creature sound like?
We did the best with what we had at the time.
Yes, free sounds help,
E for
and
effort.
and E for effort. But yeah, the rock monster was basically based off some sort of creature from like the Vermont Monster Guide, which was by Joseph Citro and Stephen Bassett, and fun stuff. But I mean, that's what was all about. Was we already knew how stupid this was gonna be because of a rock monster that basically ate people. But I mean, at the same time, who would have not have made a short film about this kind of like this strange creature? So we decided we were gonna do it, and because it was sort of technically around the Bennington Triangle area. And then we made Terror Trail 2, which we'll be talking about in 2 more years. Other than that, I don't have anything else more to say. Tessa, unless you have anything else that you haven't had a chance to shine in on.
I can't think of anything else. I think we've pretty much covered everything for this film. And like you said, in a couple more years we'll be talking about the other one.
Yeah, and hopefully by then that would be interesting if we can get like Amara's take when Terror Trail reaches its 10th anniversary, and then maybe Amara will have something to say about her being so small back then.
Tiny, tiny, tiny bun. She was
Yeah,
so small.
yes, she was.
She's
She
not
was a
tiny no
trooper that
more.
day as well.
Oh yes, she did so well. We were so proud.
That's right. I guess the final thing I can actually mention is Paula Welden again, which is so Paula Welden is the catalyst of how the Vermont State Police was formed. It also inspired local author at the time, Shirley Jackson, to write her second novel of of a book, which was also inspired by her college days or something like that. But basically, Paula Welden's disappearance basically inspired the second book, which was called Hang the Man. But if you listen to it, it's hard to figure out what exactly about her disappearance is related to that book, besides the fact that she was, you know, a college student basically. But I tried to do some digging, and I did make a review thing that basically described like what people say how the book connects to the disappearance, which I'll just say real quick and just wrap it up with that. And that is people were basically saying uh, Hang the Man has only a tentative connection to Paula Welden's disappearance, a connection made by the novel and film Shirley. There's so much more in the novel that has nothing to do with Bennington or Paula Welden. The school in Hang the Man may look like Bennington, but the dorm, the students, and the protagonist clearly derive from Shirley's freshman year at the University of Rochester. So I think it was just mainly not really the disappearance itself, but the college itself, which would have been Bennington College. But that still makes no sense because if you read the plot to Hang the Man, it basically says 17-year-old Natalie Waite longed to escape home for college. Her father is a writer who keeps a tight rein on Natalie and her long-suffering mother. When Natalie finally does get away, however, college life doesn't bring the happiness she expected, and little by little, Natalie is no longer certain of anything, even where reality ends and her dark imaginations begin. Chilling and suspenseful, Hang the Man is loosely based on the real-life disappearance of a Bennington College sophomore in 1946. And then it basically ends with Shirley Jackson Chillin's second novel, so yes, it is the second novel, is based on her own experiences and an actual mysterious disappearance. So I guess you can take that however you want to. But other than that, I just want to thank Tessa for joining me on the 5 years, and I guess real quick, Tessa, you know what, to end it, so obviously people will know my thoughts, but what's your thoughts after rewatching this 5 years later?
All I have to say is holy throwback. Like, it's crazy to go back in time like that and revisit it. And it's like wow. Like, but it was a really good way to like utilize our time and preserve our sanity during COVID. It was really good, and I mean, who doesn't love nature therapy? And throw in some elements of horror and stuff like that. It's good stuff.
That's right. Indeed. All right, Tessa, we'll talk to you later then, and we'll see you in 2 years to discuss Terror Trail 2.
You're welcome.
Well, there you have it, folks. This was the Terror Trail's 5th anniversary, which you can still watch on YouTube. Go check it out today if you have not. Otherwise, you can always visit our website, hauntedvermont.org, and the latest article about Terror Trail's 5th anniversary should be up. Otherwise, in the search bar, type in Terror Trail, and it should come up for you. Otherwise, if you go to media and films and short videos, you can find Terror Trail and all the little shorts that are Vermont-based related there, especially our first one called The Passenger. So take a look at that. Also, as a friendly note, we actually just stumbled on a paranormal podcast. It is called the Para-X podcast. It's like a radio. So if you have not checked that out, check it out today. I totally recommend it. There's a lot of cool, interesting podcasts that are available through there. And yeah, can't wait to see what else they produce and everything else. So we'll be there sharing our episodes as well. Thank you again. And as always, keep your eyes open for anything that is going to happen to you and report back.